Yo, what's up, guys? This is Pete over at Fusion Corp coming at you with another Fusion Corp podcast, aka the Gimmick Cast. This is my friend Bernie here.
What up?
Let's just go down the agenda today of what we're going to be talking about. We're going to start off with some YouTube stuff, celebrity diss tracks. They're whack. Next, we're going to move into sports. We're going to talk about the NBA, Espn rankings that are also whack. They're garbage. Some FIFA 18 top 10 players in the world ratings. What else? We're going to talk about John Jones. Yikes. Some Champions League scores. Jamel Hill. What's going on with her and ESPN looking like some clowns. Then we got some WWE talk. Then we're going to move on to music. Some new music from some people I'm listening to. Bernie, I don't think he's listening to anything new, but we'll get there. Then we're going to talk about everyday struggle with the wackest, lamest guest of all time, Russ. I don't know if that's possible, but he did it. Triple X, XXX Tentacion, with his antics afoot. Stay tuned. All right, guys. Like I said, first thing we're going to be talking about, some celebrity. Are they even celebrities? YouTube stars. Let's call them YouTube stars.
Yeah, YouTube stars.
YouTube star diss tracks. YouTubers. Oh my goodness, man! It's reaching this fever pitch of just like absolute garbageness. It makes me never want to listen to a diss track from even real musicians again in my entire life.
Really, man? Is that bad?
It's really that bad. I just don't care anymore. Like, honestly, can I give you a Illuminati type
Yeah, go ahead.
conspiracy I have?
Yeah, tell me.
I genuinely think that the Drake and Meek Mill beef was fake.
Was staged?
I really think it was. It didn't make any sense from a business perspective for either of them to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it did. I shouldn't say it didn't. I meant the opposite. It did.
Right.
And this whole fake diss track beef scenario we have on YouTube just reeks of it's all fake too.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. When I look at these like diss tracks from Rice Gum, I mean, I feel like the Rice Gum one to the Gabby.
Rice Gum, I still hate you.
That one was real.
To the Gabby show?
Yeah.
Who is that?
So they just had a beef because I think they hated each other. They had some beef before on Twitter.
Okay.
And then they went to a club.
Is Gabby show a girl?
Yeah, Gabby show's a girl.
Okay, that helps. I have no idea.
Yeah. So then I think they're at the club and she was trying to like Instagram Live or Snapchat, something like that.
Okay.
Rice Gum, and then so Rice Gum broke her phone. Obviously not okay.
Is this confirmed to have happened?
Yeah. But the thing is that Gabby worded her tweets saying that like Rice Gum hit her.
That's pretty dramatic. Can't be throwing those around nowadays.
Yeah, so it turned out to be a lie because I mean
he just broke her phone.
I think he just like grabbed her in terms of just like that, not like
still not hitting,
not like hitting at her. Just like grabbing forcefully because you're angry. Because
I genuinely blame Rice Gum for all of it. Like, not only do I give Rice Gum a hard rap on this podcast, really.
Yeah.
I don't really watch his content, so it's really hard for me to disparage the guy. I've seen a few of his videos, like his diss tracks. Mm-hmm. He's an awful rapper. So when I see like people do reactions to his diss tracks and they're like, "Oh my god, this is fire." It's like, no, it's not. This guy is awful. And it's like, now isn't that the only thing he does?
I don't know if he does. I think he still does vlogs and stuff. I think with these diss tracks, I mean, the news I just told you about was like very long time ago.
That was like a year ago or 6 months ago.
Yeah,
right?
it was a long time.
I remember. I think
earlier
H3,
in the summer.
I think Ethan from H3 was talking about that.
But yeah, I mean, like these celebrity diss tracks are just getting ridiculous, or even just them singing in general. Because I mean, now we got the "Catch Me Outside" girl with the track. She has a track out.
She's not a YouTube star though. She's a Dr. Phil star.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still kind of like in that same realm of like just very short
internet memesters.
Yeah,
turned rapsters.
Yeah, and then of course you got the Paul brothers.
Did you see her name? Did you see her rapper name?
It's like Barbie or something like that.
Mm-mm. cut that part out. It's like Bad Baby.
Yeah, Bad Baby.
But with H's as like BHAD.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing ever. Like honestly, even she's the worst human being on the planet. Or one of them. That's harsh too. Yeah. I'm being real harsh, judgmental right now. But that's just an awful rap name by any means.
Well, I think going to academics, he just talked about it. He says that popularity beats talent.
100%.
And that's what this kind of generation has become.
And it's not even popularity. Sorry to interrupt you. It's not even popularity. It's almost like your buzz at the moment.
Yeah.
Which isn't the same thing as popularity nowadays. Because there's like, I mean, it depends on how you view it. Because there's short-term popularity. Then you have actual popularity, which it's not like a day and then it's gone. You know?
Right.
Which I feel like that's the Catch Me Outside girl. Like, the only reason anybody knows her is because of the stupid Catch Me Outside thing, right?
Yeah.
And even then, the majority of people on the internet and in the world aren't talking about her anymore. It's just like she's staying just relevant enough to keep her name in the news. Mm-hmm. Which I wouldn't call popular. It's like, I don't know. It's just like if you're a meme nowadays, you can do any endeavor on the internet you want.
Yeah, and you get paid for it too. I mean, there's like, that's kind of what I got from academics' tweet is that, like, you can, like, off your buzz, you can get so much money out of these companies just because so many people flock to you.
Yeah. Which is crazy. It's crazy.
Which makes me, like, believe that what academics says is true is that most of these YouTubers have, like, a secret contract with these record companies.
Probably.
I think, because, I mean...
Probably. This is what I will say about it. And I don't hate to bring him up again, but I'm bringing up Ethan from H3 again. He says it all the time where he's like, if you're confused about something on the internet and why it's popular, the answer is always kids. And I totally agree. Like, the only people who are out there that go to this stuff are kids.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so popular. Like, Rice Gum's videos getting 10 million views or whatever, his diss tracks. There's no sane adult who listens to music seriously going to listen to those songs.
Right.
There's nobody on there saying this is a fire track, putting a bunch of little fire emojis next to it that isn't older than 12 years old.
Right.
It's just, it's kids. There's so many kids on the internet and on YouTube specifically. It's almost like that's their most preferred choice of social media.
Yeah, their medium where they like to interact.
My mom's on Facebook. My mom's not on YouTube. I can write whatever I would want.
But yeah, just
Catch Me Outside, girl.
Yeah, but just talking about it, it's just very it's just unbelievable to me that this is what it's become now, where these guys, these talented rappers and just artists in general, you know, they put their lives and souls into just hopefully making it one day based on their talent.
And then you have dudes like Jake Paul saying he's better than Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, which is just not. That's just I mean, as Stephen A. would say, that's like ass a 9, ass a 10, ass 11, ass a 12. I mean, it's just like very ridiculous how, how they think that how Jake Paul thinks that he's better than Kendrick Lamar in terms of like his rapping. He's not even better than Vic Mensa.
I mean, Vic Mensa's a legit rapper. He's like a bajillion times better. Vic Mensa's actually good. I don't like him, but he's actually good. They're like, even compare like a dude who I like, but who's not a good rapper, Lil Yachty, right?
Yeah.
Let's just use him. By an artistic measure, you put him up to Rice Gum, KSI. I'm sorry, KSI. I know Bernie likes you.
Yeah, don't burn that bridge.
But musically, dude, you're not a musician. I know you're not watching this, so I don't know why I'm talking to you like you are. But dudes like KSI and Rice Gum and Jake Paul, they're all the same. Like, they're not musicians. They never would ever have any lane or avenue to put out a song if it wasn't for YouTube and their vlogs or whatever, you know?
Right.
So for them to come out and actually pretend to be real musicians is so disrespectful to people who actually, like, that's all they do.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they spend their time and effort on. It's just making music that they think that will buzz and hopefully catch on quick so you can, you know...
It's crazy.
In a sense, make a quick buck. Meanwhile, these guys, it's almost kind of like I call it like the Kim Kardashian effect, where it's like you're popular based on just
It's like a cash
moment.
grab. Yeah, it's a cash grab.
Like just a quick moment that happened.
And I think that's like bringing it back to what we were originally talking about, the diss tracks, not just YouTubers doing music, but diss tracks, right?
Right.
That's the ultimate example of like you're baiting people in for a minute of their attention to make as much money as you can from it. Mm-hmm. Like KSI and his diss tracks towards all the sidemen is like nobody believed for a sec. I think people did, but like any rational person didn't believe for a second that was real. But it's not even clickbaiting. It's like audio baiting people in just for like possible drama.
Yeah, I think that's just what they realize is what they capture people's attention really. I mean, that's what captures anybody's attention when they see conflict with somebody, when there's like issues especially between like two big YouTubers or even just like big people in general. I just feel like people will always gravitate towards it. They'll always pick a side and then it'll generate buzz.
But like even from a business perspective, right?
Right.
You have the like 10 of the top 50 YouTubers who all of a sudden have beef with each other. It's like that's not believable to anybody.
Yeah.
Other than an 8-year-old, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like it's like dirty tactics to get money, you know?
Yeah, it's just dirty tactics to get views and money. I mean, like you said, like when they decided to make these diss tracks, you know, for a second I was like, oh, are they really? What's the issue? I don't know.
Yeah, the first time you saw it, though.
Like I don't know if there's some beef between it. I don't know if one of them fucked each other's girl or something, some issue like that. But when they started releasing more and more, you're like, oh, okay, this isn't like real at all. This is all just fake.
You just sounded like such a bro right there. That was funny. No, I agree with you. I mean, it literally is like, it's like a step past clickbaiting, right? Which I already despise. But then not only are you clickbaiting people in by faking a beef with somebody, mm-hmm. but then you actually make it and pretend that it's real. Like that's the ultimate. That's the ultimate clickbait.
Which is kind of like a WWE storyline. They're trying to go.
But it's not like, I don't know. It's just like a disrespectful clickbait, you know?
Yeah, it's like fooling the fans into believing that something's real when it's not.
It's crazy. It's like, let's bring it to Dragon Ball, right? There's actually YouTubers on YouTube, obviously on YouTube, who make like these animated videos, right, of like Goku fighting Saitama from One Punch Man. And it's like, this is real footage, and it's like they obviously traced over a bunch of different images together.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's clickbaiting too, but you're like pretending that it's real and not telling people that it's fake. Like, those are even more obviously fake than the diss tracks. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It just seems like let's say one day, one day, when we're making diss tracks, we're not going to be making disingenuous diss tracks. When I put out my Rice Gum diss track, it's because I really hate Rice Gum, and I really dislike him. You know what they haven't done? This is just a side note. Why has nobody put out like a love track to another YouTuber?
A love track, huh?
Like not like a male to a female or like a sexual love track, right?
Yeah.
But like, what if we put out like a I love you to? I'm trying to think of somebody we both like.
Chris Smoove?
Sure, Chris Smoove. Let's use Chris Smoove because we both enjoy. I don't watch him as much as you, but let's say we're just like, we made like a 3-minute legit song that's produced really well, and it's like, hey, Chris Smoove, I love you. You know?
Yeah.
That's really bad singing, but I don't have the auto-tune yet. But why doesn't somebody do that? That'd be a good cash grab.
Yeah, it probably will be.
That'd be pretty funny too if somebody did it.
Yeah, I think it's a good like one-time thing. But I feel like when you do it that one time, everyone's just gonna catch on the wave.
It's like a parody of what's already a parody. I mean, the diss tracks that these YouTubers are doing are parodies of real diss tracks.
Yeah. Like
compare Jake Paul and Rice Gum to Jay-Z and Nas.
Ugh.
It couldn't be like, it's not, parody almost doesn't even describe it. All right. I mean, I'm over it. I'm sure they're still going on, right?
I'm sure there'll still be diss tracks and feuds that'll go on that aren't really anything. And I don't know, maybe when we look back at it, when we go back,
it's never gonna happen.
I mean, obviously, someone's gonna make a history video documentary where we talk about what were the trends on YouTube at the time. So we'll talk about the 2016, 2017, what was the trend? Diss tracks.
You should do that. Cut that.
You want to keep going?
Yeah, sure. Were you done?
I don't know, but I was just saying, when we revisit history and we see it, we're gonna look at why, are we going to be comparing Jake Paul's music as to this generation's Jay-Z, Nas beef
musical ear?
Yeah,
the musical ear of 2017 compared to the musical ear of 2003 or whatever that was.
Yeah.
When was that? I don't know. It doesn't matter. All right. I mean, YouTubers, honestly, being budding, semi-new YouTubers ourselves, I love YouTube. It's my favorite platform on the internet.
Yeah, I mean,
but I hate it more than anything at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with YouTube is that you're gonna have it's almost like TV. You're gonna have your good things that you like to watch, things that you're more interested in and enjoy, and then of course you're gonna have the worst of them, where it's you can't stand it.
But it's different though, right? Because you turn on your home screen of your TV and it's not bombarding you with The Bachelor in Paradise, But you turn on the home screen of YouTube and you have
Everyday Bro
and
London,
Rice Gum.
London is my city.
Earthquake or whatever that KSI, Rice Gum.
Or England is my city.
England is my city. But you know what I'm saying? It's I think that's the thing about YouTube that bothers me the most because you can never turn on ABC Family when you put on your TV. But when you turn on YouTube, you always go straight to your home screen and it shows you their awful recommendations.
Yeah, awful recommendations and awful trending things.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's time to move on because I'm sick and goddamn tired of talking about Jake Paul.
All right, guys. So the next topic we're going to be talking about, of course, is going to be one that Peter is probably going to be raging about, as he is a New York Knicks fan, is the ESPN rankings for the top 100 basketball players. So far they've released everything up to from 100 to 11. We're still waiting for the rest of the list. But
Can't figure who it is, though.
Yeah, I mean, we'll figure. I mean, obviously, it's going to be probably LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry. But the thing that we're going to be talking about is Peter's guy over here, Carmelo Anthony, was ranked at 64, I believe.
Yeah, 64.
64, and I think that's one below Lonzo.
It is, amongst other players, but Lonzo in particular is the troubling person on the list to me. I will hold no bards and say that Carmelo Anthony is far and away my favorite basketball player of all time. Played for my favorite college, Syracuse.
Mm-hmm.
Went to the Knicks. Played for Denver too, which I actually like Denver. But he went to the Knicks, my favorite basketball team in general. They ranked him. He went from being, I've heard other people say this, so I'm not coming up with this, but it's true. He went from being probably the most overrated player in the league, which is, he's just not a top 10 player.
Yeah.
He had a couple seasons where he was, for sure.
Yeah.
But for the most part, last 5 years, he's not a top 10 player in the league.
No.
Right? Especially not last season with the whole Phil Jackson debacle happening.
Mm-hmm.
But to bring him all the way down to 64 is so disrespectful to him. Not only is he one of 4 players ever to average over 20 points every season he's played in the NBA. I mean, I just don't understand. He's played on some bad teams and literally carried them to wins that they never would have had without him.
Mm-hmm.
And then you put him below a dude in Lonzo Ball who's never stepped foot on an NBA court in an NBA game ever.
Right.
We have no idea if he's going to be good. He showed his stuff in the summer league, but that's the summer league.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just so disrespectful on so many levels.
Yeah, the thing with the list that I have like issues with is that we have rookies on here that haven't even like played a game yet.
So like Ben Simmons is in there too somewhere.
Yeah, Ben Simmons is in here, and then of course we got Dennis Smith Jr., who is number 75, and I mean like, I think it's ridiculous. I mean, I feel like rookies shouldn't apply to this list because they haven't played an NBA game.
There's even some dudes, and this is my controversial take. There's even some dudes on here who just like have actually played games, but I feel like they shouldn't be in the list. Like I feel like there needs to be like, and the person I'm thinking of in particular is Joel Embiid. Mind you, when he plays to like a top 25 player in the league standard.
Right.
He's played like 37 games ever, you know? You have no idea if it's more than like Jeremy Lin went crazy for 36 games a few years ago, you know? Right. But I'm sure if this list had come out then, Jeremy Lin wouldn't be in the top 100, you know? I just feel like it's so... I don't know. I feel like it's disrespectful to players who have put their time in the league and proven on a year in, year out basis that they're a top 100 player in basketball.
Yeah, exactly. Just, just going, like, looking at the list so far, I mean, there's, like, a couple guys I could understand being above Carmelo. But then there's some guys like Drew Holiday who gets injured a lot, which I don't understand how he's ranked a little bit ahead. Because, I mean, like, the stat here that he says is that Holiday is one of the 4 players to average at least 7 assists and 1.5 steals per 36 minutes of each of the last 5 seasons. I mean, that's kind of like skewed stats if you put it per 36. It's a 48-minute game.
Yeah.
I want to see like the whole stats because that'll tell me everything I need to know about that player.
Crazy.
Unless he's like one of those like off the bench players. That's the only time I'll ever accept stats where, you know, a per 20 or like a per something in the middle, like 24, where those stats will apply.
There's just some dudes on here who should not be ahead of Carmelo Anthony. Like like Miles Turner, who's gonna be an amazing player in the long run in the NBA, is right now not better than Carmelo Anthony. Yeah.
It's ridiculous to see. I don't know like what the voting process was. I think you told me about it.
Yeah, so I heard this is coming from an interesting source, an actual source, which is Dan Le Batard. I didn't talk to him. I listened to his radio show.
Breaking
news.
And
he said that he didn't vote in it. I don't think he did, if I remember the interview he was doing. But he was saying that the way that they did it, it was like a pick'em, essentially, where the people that were qualified to take place in this vote had some list where they got to choose between 2 players in like a battle scenario, right? Where it's like, let's just choose Lonzo Ball and Carmelo Anthony. And there's no specifics of like, are you choosing this player right now? Or are you choosing them 5 years from now? Or whatever the case may be, right?
Right.
It's just you choose between Lonzo Ball and Carmelo Anthony and who you think is better than the other. And for me, like, even with that voting, right? Which you could say, okay, well, most people probably wouldn't have chosen Lonzo Ball right over Carmelo Anthony, right? But the mere fact that your voting system is so flawed that a dude who's never stepped foot on a court and played a minute in the NBA could be better than Carmelo Anthony on this vote is like, it invalidates your voting system completely.
Yeah, that's what I don't understand about these voting systems, especially like, I don't know if ESPN does this just to drop controversy. I feel like some of their lists are just kind of like ridiculously just garbage, and they just don't. I don't think they take into account everything when they talk about a list.
Yeah, and it's like they almost are thinking of it as like whoever's voting, right, is like thinking of it in terms of who would I rather have on my team, right?
Yeah.
Of course, I could understand some people saying I would much rather have Lonzo Ball on my team than Carmelo Anthony. But the list is top 100 players, so quality. But you can't vote based on what Lonzo Ball did at UCLA. Like, that's not comparable to the NBA. Like, if you went back and took, what was that dude's name? Like the giant bust. The number 1 pick that played for the Lakers.
Kwame
Brown, right? Let's say that this was the year that Kwame Brown went number 1. And right now, they did this vote again, Kwame Brown would have been in the top 100 players.
Right.
How silly would that look now, knowing what we know?
Yeah.
I mean, the system is so flawed. You can't. It's so stupid.
Yeah, I mean, just like continuing like going down the list with some of the guys that they have, it just makes it look very stupid in terms of like what kind of voting system they have and like what their last year rank was compared to this year's rank. I mean, there's some guys that were like at like in the 100 ranks and then are now down at like the 60s. It just doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. Like, and then this is the other person that, you know, honestly, I was a little triggered about not being on the list. It's Dwyane Wade is not even in the top 100 players.
I mean, we haven't seen the top 10 yet. So I mean,
there's no way they put him in the top 10. That would almost be as much of a triggering point to me as putting him outside of the top 100 because he's not a top 10 player. Anymore, you're telling me that you would take him over some of these dudes? Like, let's see who's number. Let's just use Porzingis, right? He's in the top 30. Would anybody in their right mind take Dwyane Wade in the top 10 over Porzingis? And I'm saying this biased, but Porzingis legit is a monster.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, I've been a Dwyane Wade fan for a little bit. Well, not a little bit, since he's come into the league.
I mean, I love him.
I mean, it's just some of these guys are just kind of like
I just feel like that there's no way he's going to be in the top 10 in my opinion. But if they did, that invalidates the system just as much as having him outside of the top 100. You know?
Right.
Because Karl Anthony Towns isn't in the top 10. Who picks Dwyane Wade over Karl Anthony Towns?
Yeah. It's
the list is so trash.
I know. I mean, just even looking at it, like Kyrie Irving's like 25 on the list.
25.
I mean, he's a top.
Mike Conley is ahead of Kyrie Irving.
I mean, I like Conley.
Mike Conley is good, but he's not Kyrie Irving good. They play the same position, so they're a perfect comparison. Who takes Mike Conley over Kyrie Irving?
I don't know.
That is absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Because Kyrie Irving's younger, right?
Right.
I think by a few years. He's won a championship. Mind you, he had LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
He's an all-star every season. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
This is easily, in my opinion, like, I think ESPN has some of the worst articles on the whole internet, let alone on sports websites. They have some absolute garbage that they put out.
Yeah.
This takes the cake for me. Because then, not only so, I've heard a lot of these people on ESPN on their radio, which I've been listening to recently, is also awful. But I've even heard them say that this list is bad.
Yeah.
So you have dudes within your own organization, which it's good to have disagreements, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they voted on this, and then they had whoever, Joe Schmo, who wrote these descriptions and stats and info, who had to say, like, yeah, Lonzo Ball statistically is better than Carmelo Anthony. He has no stats. I'm triggered beyond all belief.
I bet.
Just ridiculous. I mean, like, why?
Oh, man. All right. Well, let's just move on to the next topic, which is going to be another theme that we got going on, which is bad lists. We're going to go with the FIFA 18 top 10. So this is what EA Sports FIFA 18 has as their top 10. I'll just run the list by real quick. So at number 10, we got Gonzalo Higuain. At number 9, we got Toni Kroos. At number 8, we got Eden Hazard. Number 7, Sergio Ramos. Number 6, Lewandowski. Number 5, Manuel Neuer. 4, Luis Suarez. 3, Neymar. 2, Messi. And 1, Ronaldo. I know you got to beef with the list because your favorite player is not in the top 10.
Yeah, a little snub. I mean, honestly, after, let's just say, going from that list to this list, like, this is much better, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't have as many gripes. Obviously, their top 5 is pretty spot on.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think like some of it is kind of like subjectively bad. Like I don't think Gareth Bale, he got a decrease in his rating. He went down to 89, and he's no longer in the top 10. I mean, Gareth Bale's he's my favorite player other than Heung-min Son, and I would take him over Higuain or Lewandowski any day.
Wow, over Lewandowski?
Yeah, I think so. If I had to choose a player to build a team around, a star player, I think he's just better. Really.
I don't know.
I think he suffers from the fact that statistically he's cut in half by Ronaldo and the people he plays with.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Lewandowski's just too good in terms of like in front of goal. I mean, I understand that Bale and Lewandowski, they play like a different position where
they also play in different leagues, quality-wise. Like,
yeah, but I mean, I don't see any difference to me personally. I don't see any difference between Liga Santander, which is formerly known as La Liga. I don't see the difference between La Liga and the Bundesliga. I mean, like I understand that La Liga is more of a flair. You have more flair there, and Bundesliga is more. To me, it seems more grit.
I don't know, man. I think you compare their top 10 teams in both leagues, and even you could probably go down to the number 5 best team in La Liga, and they can probably still beat the number 2 team in Bundesliga pretty soundly, which is Dortmund, right?
Yeah.
Like, I would probably... It's a toss-up even if they beat, like, Valencia, you know? And maybe I'm being harsh, but...
I think just a little bit harsh.
Maybe I'm being a little harsh. But I just think there's definitely a difference in quality of teams they're facing. Like, even just at the top half, right? Like, really close. Like, the top 5. You have 3 of the best teams in the world in La Liga. You have Atletico, Barcelona, and Real Madrid. You have 1 world-class team in Bayern who... Like, there's hardly any teams in La Liga where Robert Lewandowski could score 4 goals in 15 minutes or whatever he did a year or two ago. I just don't think that could happen in La Liga. But, I mean, this list is better. I wouldn't take Lewandowski out of the top 10, though. I'd just take Higuain out, which I think Higuain is great. He's just like a very efficient goal scorer. But I would put Gareth Bale over him.
I think maybe it has to do with the fact that Gareth Bale was injured last year for like a little bit.
Probably, yeah. And I think people are really harsh on him.
I feel like they are kind of harsh on Gareth Bale. I mean, he's still a really good player. I mean, even Real Madrid fans were booing him. I just didn't understand.
They were like whistling at him, right?
Yeah, I just didn't understand
crazy. That's absolutely crazy to me. What's in the little bit before this?
Like the 11?
Yeah, 11 to 20 or whatever it is. Cut this part out. All right, let's look at this. So we got in the top 20, we got Griezmann at 20, Courtois 19, Aguero 18, Gareth Bale 17, Chiellini 16, De Bruyne 15, Sanchez at 14, Buffon at 13, Modric 12, De Gea 11. Like that list is worse to me. Because and keep in mind that they're all the same rating, but they're choosing who they think is better in order, right? I would assume that's what they're doing.
Yeah, I would assume so. It's like,
so by EA standards, Gareth Bale is worse than Chiellini, who's 37 or whatever. He's worse than Buffon, who's 4,900 years old. And those dudes are great players.
Yeah. But
I just disagree.
I do believe that Bale is at least top 50. If you're going to make an argument, I feel like Bale should at least be, around the 12-11 area.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I still think he's really good. It's just, everyone else, especially with the rise of Marco Asensio and Isco doing really well. It's just kind of like Gareth Bale's role as, just his impact on the team is diminished a little bit.
Yeah.
So I don't know if maybe, a change of scene would do him better.
Yeah,
if he
Manchester United.
Yeah, that's the only issue though. Is that Manchester United will probably be able.
That's the problem with European football in general, though. It's like the NBA effect. You want to go play with good players, but then you as a player, you're hurt by it. And I think Gareth Bale is a perfect example of being hurt by going to a mega team.
Yeah.
He's been competing with Ronaldo ever since he got there. Literally, like, they compete, which isn't a bad thing all the time. But he loses some of the quality he could have gained by playing on a not as great team.
Yeah, I mean,
to grind, it makes you better, I think.
Yeah, like the thing I kind of wonder is like if Gareth Bale didn't go to Real Madrid and if he went to like a different team, like what would his like if he would have stayed at Spurs for like a little, maybe like another year or two, or even just like being integrated in the Spurs team now. Do you think his stats would be almost as good as like a? But do you think it'd be like top 4, top 3?
I am of the opinion that playing in the Premier League, it makes it very difficult to be in contention for any top player rating in the world, which is crazy because Hazard is 8. But I don't know, like I think Hazard being higher rated than Gareth Bale is kind of crazy to me too. And I mean, it's probably just coming down to me being biased, and I can't deny that that's the fact. But I think like if I had to choose between the two, Gareth Bale has never had a season as bad as the one that Hazard had for Chelsea 2 years ago.
Yeah, but I think that came down more to Mourinho, just kind of the way that he like sabotaged the team basically.
I feel like there's something like there's performances that are so bad that they transcend your situation though.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Cristiano Ronaldo, you put him on an imploding team with a crazy coach, he's never going to play as bad as Hazard did that season.
Right.
Like statistically, he was bad. So I don't know. Maybe, and I think they probably do their ratings more as like what they were last year, you know?
Yeah.
Than I like to think, but I mean, Heung-min Son isn't in the top 100. We discussed that a couple weeks ago. That's just absolutely trash. Yeah, what's up, guys? We're back again. Moving on, we're going to talk about Jon Jones. Lost his UFC light heavyweight championship, but a mere month after regaining it. Steroids, man.
Yeah, that basically sums it up. I mean, there's only one thing to say to him is that he's just an idiot.
USADA coming to get you. They always out there. They're always watching. Jon Jones. Yikes. I feel good for Cormier, though, I guess. I mean, he didn't win. He lost, though. And the problem with it is, like, Jon Jones' power isn't what did it. Jon Jones' technique is better than everybody. And steroids don't give you technique, you know? So that's the whole issue. There's no way Cormier can ever say he's the greatest. He lost twice to Jon Jones. Mind you, he had tainted. He's taken steroids both times, obviously. But Jon Jones will go down as the greatest that never was, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's officially done. I think his career's over.
I mean, I think it is over. Because, I mean, he's had so many chances now that it comes to a point where you just, like, there's nothing else you could do for him.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. Like, he could have literally... I mean, watching him fight for the first time, I thought he was going to be the next, like, big thing where he's probably the best UFC fighter in the world.
I mean, he is, for sure. He definitely, in my opinion, having watched it for 10 years at this point, he's the greatest fighter ever to live.
Like, maybe instead of talking about Conor McGregor and Floyd, maybe this would have been, like, Jon Jones and Floyd.
I mean, that wouldn't be fair, though. Jon Jones would win that fight.
Probably.
Sure.
But, you know what I'm saying, though? It's just,
yeah, I know what you're saying.
Like,
I agree with you.
Like, Conor wouldn't be, like, as big, I think, if Jon Jones was in the UFC doing his thing without taking steroids.
I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna lean the same direction. Let's move on. Talk about Jamel Hill briefly. The ESPN antics, looking like a bunch of clowns. What she said that Donald Trump was a white supremacist, correct? That was what got her in trouble.
Yeah, just like with the tweets that she said, I believe.
I think it boils down to like, yeah, he's a white supremacist, and that was the thing that people on the internet, Republican people on the internet, were upset about, which I think it was a poor choice by her to make the comment as far as like job security is concerned.
Yeah.
In today's climate, like people don't want politics anymore. I feel like which I don't know. That's like a longer discussion than we need to have.
Yeah. I mean, the only issue is that I only agree with ESPN to this point is that she is a public figure for them, being like the main host of the Sports Center, and what you tweet and what you say reflects the company. And I mean, we've seen millions of times where other employees have done stuff too.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it definitely like the response should have been, hey, they should have made her tweet it, or they could have tweeted it out. Say, hey, the views and opinions of our...
I think they did tweet at that out.
Yeah, but they also made her apologize, which is like, if she really feels that way...
Yeah, I mean, the only thing... Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, she shouldn't have to apologize for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if that's something that you feel, that's something that you feel. I mean, it'd be like the other way around, too.
Yeah, I mean, and they apologize, too. You know, it's like... It's crazy to me that they are apologizing for, like... They feel it necessary to apologize based on some clowns in the White House saying that she should be fired.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, if it's that big of a deal that a sports commentator or sports analyst says that our president, or she made the comment about Donald Trump, right, but she could have made it about anybody in politics, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's other people who fit the bill too, but if she had said it about any of them, the same thing would have happened.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
Exactly.
It just doesn't make any sense, and the way they've handled it, in my perspective, is just like they couldn't have looked more silly.
Yeah. And there was also like rumors that they were trying to replace her, which if that happens to be the case, if she does end up like resigning, not by choice, but like if something happens like that, then I think there'll be a lot of outrage for that.
Yeah. Big L.
Because I mean, there's some people that have said even worse things than what she said.
Way worse.
Way worse. And done some acts on TV way worse, and they still kept their job. Not
only that, but her, like, maybe a little too political for the channel, but her statement is almost based in fact. To some extent, what she said is not that far off, right? And I'm not saying that he's a real white supremacist, but from a person of African American heritage, it's not that far off as fact.
Right.
So, I mean, it's just like it's not that bad of a thing to say. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think it's a little... Their reaction to the whole situation just made them look like a bunch of clowns. ESPN caving to the government.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's just companies in general. They just cave into the public pressure. Whether it's the fans or whether it's government.
The worst part was that it's like it's not even the majority. The majority of people would never even have heard about it.
Yeah.
Nobody would have cared. Like, the only reason I know about it is because they issued an apology.
Yeah.
So I think and I like to stay in the news. So for me, I feel like as staying in the news as much as I do, that means that the majority of people never would have heard about her comment. So them issuing an apology as a corporation brings more spotlight than they would have needed.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so silly. All right, let's move on. We're going to talk about... let's go to Champion League scores. We'll keep this one a little bit brief. We can just talk about some bigger ones because some of the games were a little whack.
Yeah, I mean, we could just talk about our teams. I mean, just
that's fine. What'd you think about Liverpool?
It's the same issue that's been plaguing us since probably 2014.
Because who'd you play against?
Sevilla. So we played Sevilla.
Pretty good team.
Pretty good team. We played them before. They won the Europa League against us. But this Liverpool team is a brand new team, and the way that we play, much better team, fast paced. But of course, the Achilles heel to our team is going to be the defense. There was Sevilla scored their goal within the first 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah,
which is not going to make anyone happy, especially Liverpool fans, because as Liverpool fans, we know that we wanted to get a defender to come in, especially a center back.
Triple V.
And
no, not Triple V. VVD.
Yeah, VVD. And the issue there is that, there were some tampering issues, of course. Whether we got him or not, I think we should have still gotten and still tried to get him. Whether that's a fact, but it was so evident and clear to see that in this Champions League game that we weren't. Our defense is not up to snuff, and I'm kind of worried that if we, with this draw, especially the next game that we play, if we even draw or lose, I feel like our momentum and our confidence is going to go way down, and we're going to be on this losing streak.
I'm going to defend your team for you for a second. I think coming off the absolute demolishing against Manchester City that you guys had in the Premier League game, what happened is about as good as you could have asked for. Losing 5-0 against the team that you're supposed to be almost on par with, right?
Right.
That's destructive to a team's confidence.
Mm-hmm.
So coming out in your Champions League game and actually having the confidence to at least play almost to your abilities is better than some teams could have asked for,
Yeah. The only issue I had, though, was that we had, I think, 22 shots on target, which I think 8 of them, or not on target, sorry, 22 shots in total, 8, 9 or on target, to their 3 shots and 2 on target, which end up being goals.
You guys still have Mignolet in goal, though, right?
No, this week was Karius. I don't even blame the goalkeepers anymore. It's not even
the defense.
It's the defense. It makes no sense that we have Alberto Moreno who can't track. He's so good going forward, but defensively, he's a liability.
Yeah, 22 mediocre shots is nothing when you compare 3 actual good shots, good quality chances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. We had great shots though. Mo Salah should have scored. Firmino should have scored the penalty, which I think if we would have scored that penalty before the half, would have iced the game and we would have won.
Mo Salah got a little lucky on the 1 goal too.
Yeah.
That was an absolute just travesty of a deflection.
Yeah, but bottom line,
won the game though.
Bottom line is we should have won the game, and hopefully we win against Burnley. So. We'll see.
I'll tell you this too. This is the last thing for Liverpool.
Okay.
If that was Tottenham coming into that game after losing 5-0, I would have said there was 0 chance we would have won the game or even drew. So for you guys to have gotten the 2-2 and almost won the game, you almost won. That's good. I would have not expected that from Tottenham.
Yeah.
So it could be a sign of good things to come as far as being able to forget and move on from bad games.
Yeah, hopefully we can.
Which is important. Tottenham, I watched the whole game. It was a goodie for the boys in blue and white. Harry Kane is just world class.
World class. You liking his game?
He can do no wrong in my opinion. And then you got Heung-min Son, not in the top 100 FIFA players, looking like an absolute stud. Did you see his goal?
I did see his goal. He's really good. I think Heung-min Son is...
Sonaldo is the boy.
Sonaldo.
He's the man in charge. But that, and this is what I'll say for that, they played a good team. Dortmund is good.
Yeah, Dortmund's good. Of course they don't have Dembele anymore, but they still have Socrates, who's a very good defender.
They have a lot of good players. Piszczek, they have Royce. I don't think he played though. They have Aubameyang.
Yeah,
Pulisic is good. They're a good team. So for Tottenham to have come out and play the way they did without Dele Alli, who's on a 3-game suspension in Champions League,
right?
I'm highly pleased with that because most people kind of wrote us off with our draw of death, know. So winning against what people thought would be the other team other than Real Madrid to make it through is important, because now we just need to go and beat them again and win. We can lose both games to Real Madrid and still make it past I'm happy with it. Harry Kane, this is a little question I wanted to ask you because I read an article today on ESPN FC, one of their few decent articles. I thought it was pretty interesting about Harry Kane and what he needs to do to be considered world class, because Harry Kane can score from anywhere on the field. And did you see how he absolutely manhandled those Dortmund defenders in the one on his first goal?
Oh no.
He literally threw them off like Marshawn Lynch would.
It was a little bit. It was ridiculous. Some of the Arsenal fans that I talked to were saying that those are fouls. What do you say to that?
I would say that they were fouling him too. It's a no call. It looked like a foul on both sides. I'm not going to say Harry Kane wasn't fouling those guys. Yeah, those dudes were all over him too.
Yeah,
it's a no call. You don't call it. So that was a great goal. Regardless if it's a foul or not, most players can't do what he did on that goal.
But like going back to your original question of like what can make Harry Kane world class, as sad as it's going to be for me to say, I think he probably needs to move to a different team.
Yeah, and that was the article was saying that he needs to go to a different team, right? And 5 years ago when it was Gareth Bale in the same position, I agreed. Like, in order for him to have become world class, he needed to leave. But I don't think it's the case with Harry Kane. You know? It's just a matter of keeping the people that we have. Because in a year from now, I mean, Dele Alli is already world class, in my opinion. But a year from now, he's only getting better. Christian Eriksen is world class too. You have 3 dudes who could play on the starting lineup for Real Madrid probably. Mm-hmm. So I just think they need to win. They need to produce. You have a world class coach too. Pochettino is the man.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like people would notice Harry Kane if like his goal production. I mean, I'm not saying that his goal production isn't good.
It's the best in the Premier League.
I know it's the best in the Premier League, but if he was scoring on the levels of like a Ronaldo or a Messi, I feel like people would like really notice it.
I mean, all competitions, he's not that far off.
Yeah, but I mean, just like league wise, like compared to Messi and Ronaldo, like if you want to be like considered, even like Lewandowski, who is considered world class.
Yeah, I
like,
mean,
if you were scoring at the level that they were scoring, like especially if Harry Kane does it this year, then I think there will be like a serious discussion of what team is going to be signing Harry Kane.
The thing about Harry Kane is that he's 22 years old. Lewandowski, Ronaldo, Messi, they're all 29 or 30 years old. They're in their prime career years.
Right.
Harry Kane is 22 years old, or 23. I think he's 22 though. Like, that's the production he has for a 22-year-old is the best in the world as a striker. Other than there's maybe 1 or 2 other dudes. Like Dybala might be better.
Dybala or Lukaku.
I'm not taking Lukaku over Harry Kane. He plays in the same league as Harry Kane on a team that's supposed to be good, right? Or Manchester United is good, but I'm thinking of Everton Lukaku.
Yeah.
That team was supposed to be good.
I don't think so.
Everton's a top 8 team in the league.
I mean, they're a top 8 team, but...
So were Spurs a couple years ago when Harry Kane started, right? Nobody thought Tottenham was top 4 last year. Let alone 2.
No, but I mean, I still thought you guys were going to be pretty good, like at least 5.
I don't know, man. I feel like if you are in the same league, he's younger than Lukaku is. He produces more goals. I just don't see where there's an argument as far as quality is concerned. And I'm not saying Lukaku is bad. They're about the same, you know?
Yeah, I just think it's your choice of preference, like who you would want.
Yeah, it's play style too, really. Depends on what you want. Lukaku's a little faster than Harry Kane, so probably a lot faster, honestly. All right, let's move on from the Champions League. I would say overall, pretty good week for our boys. It could have been way worse for you guys.
Could have been worse, but could have been better.
Let's move on. WWE, we're going to keep this one a little short. Not a lot to talk about, really.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I wanted to bring up about WWE is these... we're still getting these Roman Reigns, John Cena promos. Now they just become a little bit more stale, in my opinion of them. I mean, they tried to do more of like the shoot promo style that we've seen, and it's just been very like these ones haven't been very good. Like if you would have left off on the first one, I mean everyone was like really high on it, but then as soon as we get to where we're at now, they're just kind of like, okay, we're tired of this. But the one thing I did want to ask you about this was if Roman Reigns is supposed to be your number 1 guy,
okay,
why are you cutting him down with promos from John Cena? When obviously we know that Roman Reigns can't cut a good promo compared to John Cena.
I think part of it is to demonstrate that Roman Reigns is getting better. You know? Like, he legit, compared to where he was 3 years ago, his promo skills are through the roof compared to then. Like, he's still not good. I'm just saying, compared to the Roman Reigns of yesteryear, he's a lot better. Because that Roman Reigns couldn't talk his way out of a paper bag. So I think it goes to show that Roman Reigns he's kind of keeping up with John Cena, who's been your guy for 15 years.
Okay.
So I think it's to demonstrate his progress as a promo cutter and eventually an in-ring performer. And I still am going to say that I agree with myself that he is going to end up looking really good at the end of this.
Probably. I mean,
even to the fans, I think he's going to come out on top.
Yeah, because, I mean, he had a match this Monday Night Raw with Jason Jordan, and I thought that was, like, a really good showcase from Roman Reigns.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, Jason Jordan's a great worker.
Yeah.
And his Northern Light suplex is...
It shows what they think of him, too.
I mean, going against, like, two top guys going toe-to-toe.
The dudes.
Like, for 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, really good. But, I don't know, man, it just seems like, to me, they're just trying to make Cena finally more over with the fans than like the yesteryears where he was getting booed and John Cena sucked chants by using Roman Reigns' heat.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's like, it's a play on the current dynamic of WWE fans, right? People love to hate both of them, but by putting John Cena in a position where he can make fun of Roman Reigns, it makes him look better. And it also is giving Roman a chance to look better too. So it puts them both in a position to sell more merchandise. Like, people hate both of them less because of it.
Right.
But I think it's also like they're obviously trying, and we talked about this last week, not on the podcast, but we were talking about it. It's like, this is a great way to put Roman in the driver's seat. Rather than just handing him everything, he has to earn it from John Cena. You know?
Right.
They just aren't doing it the right way. Like we talked about last week, Tanahashi and Okada in New Japan. It's the same kind of dynamic. They were trying to let Okada take the reins from Tanahashi as the ace of the company or the main dude. And rather than just say, hey, you're the guy now, here's the championship, they let him earn it from him in like earn his cheers rather than just like, hey, cheer for this guy, he's our guy, you know?
Yeah.
So it could end up being too little too late for Roman, but I think it's probably going to end up working, but it's just like a really like shitty way of doing it. Yeah. It's just like not well handled or well put together.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, that's really, yeah, I don't know.
It's WWE in a nutshell, isn't it?
Pretty much. That's what I was
taking good ideas and just absolutely.
I mean, they have like such good, like the characters are good, and the wrestling has been like better than it's ever been before, and they just decide to ruin it with these like cheesy storylines and bad gimmicks that they give these guys.
I mean, this is better than some of the other stuff, though. Well, let's move. You ready to move on? Let's talk about a legitimately great promo, in my opinion.
Right.
Kevin Owens and Vince McMahon cut a just enthralling promo, and I'm not saying that sarcastically. I think that's the first time I've ever said that word legitimately, but I mean it. That promo was wonderful.
Yeah, it was really good. And the thing I liked about it was it kind of shows that although Kevin Owens doesn't have the Vince McMahon look that he likes in his wrestlers, Vince McMahon is really high on Kevin Owens as a performer, a talker on the mic. I mean,
they're behind him. I
mean, to Vince, he's got like the total package.
And I didn't see it, but didn't they have Triple H have him put Kevin Owens over too?
Yeah, I mean, like Triple H got involved to where Kevin Owens won the Universal Championship back a little bit to where he, beat Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. I
mean, he's got three biggest decision makers probably in the WWE, like at the surface, I guess. He's got Vince, who's obviously number one, Shane O'Mac, and then Triple H. So So he's got the three dudes who have obviously put a big stake in him as a performer in ring and on the mic. So it's great for Kevin Owens. I love him. You know, one of my favorites in the world, let alone WWE. But that promo was beautiful. Like, Vince McMahon, there's a reason he's still going out there every once in a while, you know?
Yeah.
He's not bad when he's out there. He never has been.
Mm-hmm.
Makes a fool of himself quite often. But
the torn hammy.
Like when he's talking on the mic, there might not be anybody better.
Yeah, I mean, like, of course, when you're the creator of this WWE world that they're in now, you know, obviously you have to play a big part, and you feel that he's like a real life character.
Yeah, it just goes to show that, like, this is why this company is so big. It's because you have a dude like this is the creator and the owner of the company.
Yeah, and then just going on that promo, I don't know if you caught it, there was a little bit of pettiness from Vince McMahon talking about how the part where Kevin Owens was thinking about suing.
It was funny.
Kevin Owens suing Vince McMahon is that Kevin Owens is not Kevin Owens, sorry, but Vince McMahon is saying that he's a billionaire. So even if you tried to sue me, you couldn't get you don't have enough money to
he can just outspend him
in court, which is kind of like a little shade, I feel like, towards Colt Cabana and CM Punk against the doctor that they're suing.
Okay, I was just about to ask what they were suing him. It's for the, like, isn't it the whole CM Punk when he had, like,
a staph infection?
MRSA, right? Wasn't it MRSA in his back? That's as a CM Punk fan, that's crazy that he's not going to get any money out of that. Because that is, if that story is true, which I believe it's true, that's crazy. But yeah, that's definitely, I agree with you. I think that's some serious shade.
Serious pettiness from Vinny there.
That might be the nail in the coffin of ever seeing.
I don't know. I mean, just like they say in wrestling, never say never.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone has a price, I feel like. I mean, depending on, I'm not saying that everyone has.
I agree with you. I think everybody does have a price.
I mean, everybody should have a price. I mean, if CM Punk says, okay, I want Brock Lesnar type of money to come back, I'm sure the WWE would, like, hand him 20 checks right there and then.
They probably would.
Just so he can come back, because the fans go crazy for him. Even when he's not wrestling, they still chant his name.
Still.
Which has to say something.
It's been years.
Yeah, it's been since, like, what, 2014? Or even, like...
Maybe 2015.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while since he's been in the company.
Nuts. I 100% agree with you. I think that if and when, and I even being the one who just said it might be the nail in the coffin, I think he's going to come back eventually.
Yeah.
Because he's absolutely god-awful in the UFC.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as his contract there is over, he's going to go back to the WWE.
Yeah.
So he could go and be the biggest dude in the company, what he always wanted to. I mean, he's gained more traction in the last year and a half that he was in the company and since he's left than in the first 10 years he was with them.
Right.
So he'd go back and be the biggest dude in the company just for mere fact. I mean, that would be the number one headline on even, like, ESPN.
Yeah.
Which you couldn't say about even Brock Lesnar wouldn't do that.
Right.
That's just like, that's sports entertainment at its finest would be CM Punk coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Be the Montreal Screwjob, like Bret Hart coming back all over again.
Yeah, that would. Imagine if ESPN covered that back in the day.
That would have been crazy. Because that's, like, still crazy. All right, next topic for the day on the agenda is going to be a complex news article again this week because they're the worst website on the internet. They did a list of rappers in their 20s, the best 20 rappers in their 20s at the moment. And it is awful. What do you think?
It's really interesting, but let's just go over the list for everyone, just in case they don't know. So, at number 20, we got Kodak Black. 19, we got Cardi B. We got 18, Sway Lee. 17, YG. 16, I don't even know how you say that name.
I believe Kamaya.
Kamaya, okay. 16, Kamaya. 15, 21 Savage. 14, Mac Miller. 13, No Name. 12, Offset. 11, Uzi Vert. 10, Big Sean. 9, Vic Mensa. 8, ASAP Rocky. 7, Quavo. 6, Travis Scott. 5, Joey Badass. 4, Tyler the Creator. 3, Vince Staples. 2, Young Thug. And then 1 is Chance the Rapper. So just like looking at the list itself, I mean, the one that we could obviously talk about that should not even be on the list is probably Cardi B. Yeah, I mean, I know she has like a hit song right now and it's like popping. But like other than that, she hasn't really done anything to make me think that she's going to be either a really good artist or just a one-hit wonder.
It's literally the same thing we talked about with the NBA list, as putting rookies on a list of people as far as their overall ability is concerned. How do you put somebody who has one legitimate released song on your list of top 20 rappers in their 20s? Like, is Logic in his 20s?
I believe Logic is in his 20s.
Um, $1990. He's 20. He's in his 20s. All right. I mean, like, let's use Logic as a great example. I don't even listen to Logic's music. I don't really like his voice. But how can you say that he's not as good of a rapper as Cardi B? That's so disrespectful. The dude has multiple albums that are very well received critically.
Yeah, I want to say that his latest album either is gold or went platinum.
That's just popularity. I'm even saying, like, critically, he's like, people think he's very good.
Right.
Cardi B has one popular song, and she's in the top 20. Let's go down the list a little bit. Let's do Sway Lee. I like Sway Lee. Like, I actually really enjoy Sway Lee. Even some of the music he makes solo with, like, Mike Will Made It or whatever, I like those songs too. How do you put a dude who has never put a solo album on the top 20 list?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like Sway Lee's different. I mean, of course, he's released with, like, Ray Sherman as a group.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he's got enough history and like, clout behind him where I think you could see where the projection's at, because I feel like in his albums with Slim Jimmy, I think he's the one that, like, stands out the most, to me at least. I think he's the one that stands out the most, and I could see what there's an allure with him being a very good art, like an artist that you should keep eye on, that he will probably be good.
I agree with you. I think he's obviously the best part of Ray Shremmer. Like, far and away, Slim Jimmy is trash. No offense, Slim Jimmy. But the thing that makes him great to listen to is not his rapping. It's his, like, hooks. His singing is good, you know? Right. So that brings into another question. Are they talking about rappers or just musicians in the complex news eye, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of interesting because I looked at this list before we talked about it.
Yeah.
And I looked up some people. Like, I looked up No Name, who was also on the list, which we talked about. When I listened to her music, it didn't sound like rap. She didn't sound like a rapper to me. She sounded more of like an R&B artist.
I mean, another thing you said that I want to counterpoint to is that it's an artist you should keep your eye on. Like, the list isn't 20 best rappers in their 20s you should keep an eye on. It's the best 20 right now. If Sway Lee is going to be great in 5 years as a rapper, he's going to be great in 5 years. He shouldn't be in the top 20 right now. I think he probably is in the right spot. He's probably number 18. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, there's other people, like Logic is not a better rapper than Sway Lee.
I don't know. See, with this stuff, I mean, I know they're in the same category, like rap, hip hop, But I don't know. I feel like Logic raps more about kind of social issues compared to Sway Lee, who's not.
Yeah, but Kendrick was the number one on their list last year, and all he does is rap about social issues. Nobody would debate if he was number one. If he was 29 still, and he was number one on this list, he's a social critic too. You know?
Yeah. I don't know if it's because I don't want to like bring out like race or anything into it. I don't know if it's because he looks more white than he is black.
Maybe.
I don't know if that's also something because, I think people just assume that he's white. So I don't know if people aren't really looking out for him because they already have someone like a Mac Miller who's on this list.
Maybe. Like, I just think, like, and let's keep moving down. Let's move on to another artist. Because Sway Lee, I think we can both agree he should be on this list, probably. Yeah. He's in a really, really popular music group, and he's by far the best part of it. So he should make his spot on here, right?
Yeah.
But let's move down. And if you're going by the top 20 rappers in their 20s, this should mean quality of music, right? Kodak Black is absolute garbage.
Yeah, I mean, some people like him, some people don't. I think he's okay. I don't think he's anything I don't think he's like the best like top 20 rapper out right now.
21 Savage. He has good production. I mean, by the 21 Savage standard, you should put Playboi Carti on the list.
Yeah.
They do the same thing. They have really, really good production, and they do ad-libs over their music. It's the same exact music. There's no difference creatively between the two. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, just like 21 Savage, it's I don't know if it's just because of like the popularity of just like his album, because his album sold pretty well from what I saw, and the Amber Rose effect. He's got Amber.
Yeah, I mean, this list just reeks of it being a popularity contest, but even that they didn't get right.
Yeah, Complex to me is just like a bunch of hype beast, and they just go with what's hot right now. They don't go with like if you look at the discography of every rapper that you've put on this list, like you've looked at it, you've studied every single one of them.
Yeah,
I feel like they didn't do that, and they just did more of, okay, who's hot right now? Okay, let's put him or her on the list.
But I feel like even that they didn't do right, though, because some of these people aren't very relevant. Like Mac Miller's not very relevant anymore. No Name isn't relevant. Like, and she's becoming relevant, you know. But I just feel like some of these people are like, they shouldn't be on here at all. And if you're taking like rappers who are doing their thing in like doing it well at the moment, there's other people who are better than them who are more active. You know?
Right.
Like let's use one of the internet dudes, right? Let's use Ski Mask. I'll always be on the bandwagon of him.
Yeah.
But you can't tell me that 21 Savage or Kodak Black are better musicians than he is.
How old is Ski Mask? Is he...
I'm pretty sure he's 21.
Okay.
He's definitely young. He might be 19.
Because I mean, like, this is like in their 20s. So.
Yeah, I know. I mean, being too young would discredit you as well. So let me look up Ski Mask, Slump God. He's 21 years old. So, I mean, they didn't. He's popularity wise up there with those people right now.
Yeah, I mean, with some people, I just want to know, like, if this list that they compiled here on Complex was more of a one-man team, or was it multiple people looking at it and from other people's perspective they came up together with the list? Because there's some acts that I get and there's some acts I don't get. Like Mac Miller, I don't get because I haven't really heard his name
in a couple years.
Not
just like 6 months, like 2 or 3 years. And I have a theory as to how this article was written. I think that this is a mishmash of a bunch of different people who they asked to like, hey, give me your list right now, right? Of your top 20 rappers in their 20s. And they took all the Complex staff and they're like, let's average it out of who would make it in.
Right.
And then like somehow some people slipped up ahead of others that shouldn't be there. you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because, like I said, it reeks of a popularity contest, but then there's some people who are more popular than some of these artists who aren't on here. Like, speaking of Ski Mask, like X.
X is 19, isn't he?
Is he 19? He might be.
I believe
he
he's too young 20. For the list, because I feel like even Complex wouldn't take Triple X out of it.
Oh, I don't want to just search up XXX. That's funny. I almost did.
Oh, that would have been.
He's 19. Okay, so he makes sense. But let's choose another person I like. Post Malone. Most people consider him to be a rapper. He's really not.
No, he's like a hybrid.
But by Complex's very loose standards, he would be considered a rapper too.
Yeah, like I feel like Post Malone would be more of a. I feel like he would take Mac Miller's place.
He fits the bill of this list.
Right.
So I don't see how they don't put him on it, because he's better talented and has put out more successful stuff than some of these people.
Yeah, I mean, just double checking on the age, because I don't want to, misinform anybody, but he's 22. So he obviously fits in that time frame of best rapper in their 20s. I mean, I don't know. This list is, like you said, it's just a bunch of hogwash.
Denzel Curry, where's he at?
I mean, Denzel Curry's. I mean, there's a lot of guys that you could say, like, where are they on this list?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think some of this list is like so weirdly chosen that it makes me wonder how much effort they put into it.
Yeah, I mean,
Vic Mensa.
Like Vic Mensa's like another dude. Like he's good.
His last album was good.
He's good. I mean, obviously it didn't do the numbers.
Number 9 though.
Yeah.
Number 9. Like, you're telling me he's better than Big Sean? And Big Sean is quality-wise, I like his music. He's not the best. And Vic Mensa is definitely lyrically better than Big Sean. But how is he better than Big Sean is?
I don't know.
Even Uzi Vert. I don't even like his album. I would put him over Vic Mensa.
I don't know.
It's pretty rough, man.
It's a rough list.
Where's Takeoff on this list, too? None. You put Quavo and Offset and you don't put Takeoff on the list?
They might as well just put the Migos together and just create another spot.
Did you hear Intruder? Intruder. It was a good song. He only said the same thing over and over, but it was good. Better than No Name, literally. Mac Miller should be No Name. 21 Savage, 21 No Talent. You got Kodak Whack, who has the biggest diss track of all time, is labeled at him. The number 1 song in the country is at him, right? Isn't Bodak Yellow a diss track at him?
I don't think so.
I thought that was the whole point of it.
No, he just took the beat.
But I thought Bodak Yellow, it's in reference to the thing that was going on with him, that he said he only didn't like black girls.
Honestly, I have no idea.
Who knows anymore? I'll tell you this. Complex and their Cardi B obsession it's just driven me to an edge I didn't think I could reach. A musical edge.
I mean, the thing is, like, we'll all agree that the Bodak Yellow song is good. It's catchy. It has good beat.
It's good production. Somebody wrote that song for her, though.
Even like the way that she flowed was really good. To me, it was good.
I agree. No, musically the song is good. I just think like she has the smallest part in it being good.
But I mean, do we think that she's going to like have a whole good album out of it?
No.
That's yet to be seen. But my guess is that it's probably going to be no.
I'd go so far as to say the album would be better if the album's name was Bodak Yellow and all 20 songs, which you know it's going to be 20 songs long, every song was Bodak Yellow.
Yeah.
It would be better than whatever she's going to put out. I hope she proves me wrong, and I hope it's album of the year. I just don't think it's going to happen.
I mean, that's the thing, though. Like, I hope that it's... I mean, I just don't want to get into this trend again where we get, like, especially talking about Black China, who's also supposedly wanted to become a rapper. I just don't want to see this trend of like one-hit wonder songs have a little bit of clout for like 5-10 minutes and then it's gone. Because I mean, then you like disrespect the people that actually put their their hard work and talent into creating a good song that's better lyrically, and the beats are better, but because Black China sings on it, it's going to get more clout because of her name and what she brings.
But like we were saying earlier with the YouTuber diss tracks, like it's all about the buzz at that moment. Yeah. If I almost 100% guarantee you that if Bodak Yellow wasn't still in the top 10 most popular songs in the country right now, she wouldn't be on this list.
No.
If that song had come out a month earlier than it had, and they were still writing this list now, she wouldn't be on the list.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't see how they take themselves seriously when that's the standard of their list.
Like I said before, Complex is just hype beast. It's not anything that's going to be like I take their stuff. The only reason why I even pay attention to Complex is because, one, I'm kind of like a sneakerhead, so I like to watch their sneaker stuff.
Okay.
And second is because of academics. That's the only reason why I even am on the Complex channel itself.
Even then, he needs to leave too. But that's besides the point. All right. It's enough bashing on Complex. Let's move on to something even worse. Everyday struggle on Complex. We're staying on Complex.
It's a complex
situation for Complex and how bad they are at everything they do. What?
But anyway, yeah.
Everyday struggle. Another episode. More drama. At this point, it's essentially Tuesday morning Raw or whatever. It's just another WWE show. They had Russ, musician, come on the show. It's pretty good. It's a decent musician. He came on and aired some grievances with our friend DJ Academics and Nadeska.
Yeah.
You want to let them know what the situation is?
So, at the time when I think they were when Everyday Struggle was covering a Russ kind of topic, Russ reached out to them and said, "Hey, I'd love to come on your show." But at the time, they didn't really want to do guests, or it's like a voting system where everyone votes for if they want this guy to come on or not.
Yeah.
And so no one really wanted Russ to come on.
I mean, look at the other people they have. He's way less
known and just
in the public eye than Lil Yachty or even Vic Mensa.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, Nadeska sends out, I don't know if it was Nadeska or Complex themselves are sending out an email back to him saying that, sorry, we're not really doing guests at this time, or, there's a voting system with our guests, but we don't, if some of us don't want this guest to come, then we won't bring him.
Okay. Can you confirm or deny? I heard that some email that he brought up, I don't know if that's the only email he brought up. Was it? Did he bring up other ones?
No, he brought up that email, but I
heard one was fake.
But according to Academics and Joe Budden and Nadeska, when I was watching today's episode, I believe, or yesterday's.
Yeah.
They said that Nadeska was in the right. She didn't do anything wrong, and that Russ is the one that misread or misinterpreted the email.
I mean, regardless, if they don't want you on their show, they don't want you on your show.
I mean, that's exactly what Joe Budden brought up. It's just, no, these guys aren't able to take no for an answer. If someone doesn't want you on their show or doesn't want to feature you, then they won't do it. You shouldn't take that as a slight.
Yeah, of course not. If anything, you should take it more as a thank you. Why would you want to go on the show and have some people who aren't interested in you interviewing you? It looks good for nobody. It doesn't look good for the show. That's why they're saying no. And as an artist who's trying to get their name out, if you go on an interview with whatever show and they're completely disinterested in whatever you have to say and what you're doing at the time, why would you want to be on the show anyway?
Yeah. But
rather than that, he goes on the show.
Yeah, so going back to the story, he goes on the show. They have actually, it wasn't actually a bad show up until the point where he gets in his feelings about not being, or just about the email not being on Complex. He uses that moment to kind of bash Nadeska and just Complex themselves.
I mean, which some of it is honestly not far off from reality. It's just the way he went about it. The perfect way to describe him is if you change the R to a P. Puss.
R2B.
That's the second awful joke of the podcast. But like he went in, got all in his feelings, and looked like an absolute cringe monster.
Yeah, just like the way that even academics were looking at it, he was like, what is this guy even talking about?
Even academics, the king of cringe moments. Academics has more cringe moments this year than Ethan Bradbury. And Russ comes on and makes the biggest cringe moment ever.
Yeah, it's just unnecessary for him to even do that. And he just took that time to kind of show his grievances and just whine and complain that he just because he got saying, sorry, we don't really want you on the show, he cried about it. Yeah,
and then did you remember there's a point in his little rant he goes on where he's like talking to DJ Academics. He's like, can you even name another rapper that sold more tickets in LA than I did? He says that, and they don't give him an answer, but it's like, that's the stupidest point ever. I can name 3 off, like, instantly. Big Sean probably did a show in LA, sold more. I looked that one up. That is true. I'm sure Kendrick Lamar's done a show in LA this year. Definitely sold more than Russ.
Yeah.
Drake has definitely done a show in LA. Probably sold a bajillion times more than he did.
Yeah, so, I mean, like we've been saying, just a rapper in his feelings doesn't even, just like everyday struggle will probably brush him off. He'll still probably take that as like a, an elevated push from the everyday struggle team.
I mean, the best part about it is like nobody ever would have known that they declined to have him on the show.
Yeah.
Until he brought it up. Like he put himself in a bad spot and then made himself look even worse.
Yeah, and did you see that he released like a diss track to Joe Budden?
Was he like with Jake Paul and Team 10 on the track?
No, but it was.
That would have been better.
It's not even worth Joe Budden's time to come out of the retirement game and.
DJ Academics should do it.
Well, I mean, he will be releasing a mumble rap album, so we'll see.
That's not true. He's really doing that?
Yeah.
DJ Academics, get out of Complex, dude. Your change. All right. Last but not least, let's do this one really quick. We're going to talk about XXX Tentacion, some antics from our friendly neighborhood rapper who's not very friendly and not in our neighborhood. But X has been all up in the news this week for a myriad of awful things that he's done and said.
Yeah. I mean, allegedly beating his girlfriend, doing just apparently allegedly a lot of awful stuff. So we don't want to say that he's guilty or innocent. We just want to say allegedly so we don't get in trouble.
I mean, yeah, he just needs to stay out of the news for like a week.
Yeah, and it's just like, I mean, I understand where he's coming from in terms of, allegedly if he didn't do it, that if this girl's just trying to wreck my name and just wants money from me.
Yeah, I understand.
And that's where I kind of, not to get into like the legal side of things, I kind of wish there was like I don't know if you can countersue them.
You can.
But I would, like, if I'm X, I would just countersue them.
I mean, the problem with that though is the people, if it's not true, the people who come out of the woodwork to do things like that don't have any money to give you.
Yeah.
There's no point in wasting your money on it. So like X being the biggest troll in the history of hip hop, which he is, right. Really. He just needs to stop trolling for a minute, because even if it isn't true, his response to it was just like atrociously not funny.
Yeah, I mean, it sounded like we use this word a lot, but it was very cringe.
He just sounds like a kid.
And that's kind of like what the point is, though. He's like 19.
Yeah.
He's still like growing up, but that still doesn't excuse like his actions. Like it doesn't matter how old you are. Like by 19, you should understand like what is right and what is wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some stupid stuff that, of course, you learn over time just because of the influence of your friends.
Yeah, I agree.
And other stuff like that. But
I agree with you. I mean, and you can't put all the blame on a dude who's obviously as wealthy as he is all of a sudden,
Mm-hmm.
coming from where he was to now in 9 months.
Right.
And he's probably pretty different than he was 9 months ago before he had money, you know? So it's hard. You got to give him some semblance of a doubt when stuff like this comes up.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, I don't know. I don't care about his music video, though. A lot of people were up in arms about that being really offensive.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you watched like the YouTube, or not YouTube, but like the Instagram clip after this, he said that like it's more about all lives matter.
Yeah.
And of course.
I believe that, actually. You think he didn't mean it, though? You thought that was like a press thing?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm just a little confused about it because, of course, the Black Lives Matters movement is going to not be okay with that.
Yeah.
Because they don't agree with the All Lives Matters statement, or like what the beliefs are for that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to get into any of what we believe about it, but I think he genuinely means it. Because I don't know if you ever saw this, but he came out, this is months ago, when that it's that show on Netflix, the thing that people were really up in arms about.
Was it 13 Reasons? Or?
No. The one that's like for black women only. Do you remember that? There's a show on Netflix or a movie on Netflix that was called like For Black Women Only.
Okay. I think I've heard about it.
People were like, this is racist. If a white person had come out with For White Women Only, like this would be incredibly racist and inappropriate.
Yeah.
And even he came out and he's like, yeah, if this was called For White Women Only, this would be completely inappropriate. Like this is just as inappropriate. So this was months ago before any of this came up.
Right.
And it's along the same lines of like, it's racist no matter how you put it.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's not okay however you put it. So I feel like he's telling the truth.
Yeah.
But he shouldn't even worry about the music video. That's just like a piece of art, if you want to call it that. It's a video. So just move past it.
All right, guys, that's going to do it here for episode 4 of the Gimmick Cast here at Fusion Corp. Just want to thank you guys again for watching the video. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll holler at you next time. Pete, you got anything to say before we head out?
This is Ethan Bradbury.
Man, the Ethan Bradbury jokes. All right, guys, peace.